What's up, fight fans? We welcome you to the first episode of the AKA Pod. I'm Tyler, not so dangerous Moody. That's the real danger right there. Matt Danger Schnell, our very own star, UFC's very own Louisiana legend, Shreveport legend, Matt Schnell. How you doing today, brother?
Doing good. Driving down the interstate. So being dangerous whilst doing this podcast as well.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time for us here today. For those of you that are new, obviously everybody's going to be new to this, but if you're new to AKA, we put on the best fights in Louisiana. This is the premier fight organization in Louisiana, and we want to do something a little bit different. We want to give the fans an inside look into the fight game, behind the scenes, talk about these cards before we actually get to fight day. We're going to be talking to Blake LaCaze coming up right after this, so make sure you stick around and hear from big boy Blake LaCaze. But let's get into this card match now. AKA 50. Brother, you brought me into this, I mean, years ago now. We got going right after Rite of Passage, switched over to AKA. I want to say I appreciate you, but dude, how crazy is it that we're now at AKA 50?
Yeah, 50 events. It's been a ride, and it's crazy just thinking back on it. And all these fights sometimes bleed together for me. But we have done some fights, and we have put some time and effort. And I think when I first started out on this venture, it was only to get repetitions, to try to get better at these things. I had no knowledge that it would become what it has. So it's been very fun, very fulfilling to be a part of. Happy to have you. You make me look way better every single day. And I'm appreciative of you too, my dog.
Well, we're also appreciative of Amber and John Bishop, of course, Dynamite, who leads the show as well. Big thank you to everyone that helps make AKA possible. We're nothing without them. So we just get to do the fun part. We get to talk about these fights. And now let's talk about November the 1st in Ruston, Louisiana, AKA 50. Card subject to change. We're a month out. You guys know how the fight game is. Things change occasionally. But let's go through what we have right now, Matt Schnell, our main matchmaker. I've been helping out a little bit, but Matt does 90% of the work. So 95% to be probably more accurate. This is the man that gets it all done. Let's talk about this card, Matt. Let's start with Charlie Caldwell and Hunter Jones. Hunter Jones ready to step into the cage against Charlie Caldwell.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Hunter Jones coming back. One of these guys, and just to touch on what I said before, sometimes all these fights bleed together, and I forget some of these guys. Guys fighting the UFC, they're training partners of mine now that I've commentated their fights before, and just because there's been so many of them, I forget about him. A guy who I've never forgotten about and will never forget about is Hunter Jones. He's one of my favorite one of my favorite AKA fighters that I've had, the opportunity to watch come into the sport, grow a little bit, fight some good fights, and very excited that he's back, wanting to come back, wanting to fight some more, and slimmed down a little bit, apparently in much better shape than he used to be. And so I think eventually he's going to want to fight a weight class down. But since this is him getting his feet wet once again, I kind of urged him to let's not worry about the weight cut. Let's go and fight this kid Charlie Caldwell, who's been battering my doors down, trying to convince me to get him a fight. Tells me he is a pro-ready heavyweight. So I said, I bet. We'll find out. I put him in front of Hunter Jones, and we're gonna see.
Well, we're going to find out on November the 1st for sure. Hunter Jones getting back into the cage against Charlie Caldwell. Next up, we've got Joey Lopez and one of the Fortis guys. By the way, shout out to Fortis. They've got a ton of great fighters. They're kind of doing more with us now. Mike Gardner taking on Joey Lopez.
Yeah, Mike Gardner versus Joey Lopez. This is, the tale of two guys that are a little on the green side. Mike Gardner, 0-1, hasn't fought in a while, but obviously trains at a good gym and probably has a well-developed skill set. You would have to think if he's able to navigate the mats at Fortis MMA. And Joey Lopez, a guy, apparently an exciting guy, a guy that's going to bring quite a crowd. So looking forward to seeing that one go down. Not sure what to expect. Two guys who are a little bit greener, but sometimes those can be the funnest fights. Two green guys go out there late on the line, trying to take each other out. They can turn into barn burners. So definitely a fight to watch.
Yeah, those have been actually some of the best fights that we've had. They're maybe not the most technical fights, but they like to scrap, and we love to see it here at AKA. Speaking of getting into a scrap, Haley Diome taking on Micah Reddick. The last time that we had Haley Diome down in Lake Charles, she put on a show. I mean, she really did. She's going to get back in there once again. What do you expect in that fight, Matt?
I expect much of the same. Haley Diome going to come out and try to put together 400 punches in a 2-minute round process. But yeah, I think our girl Micah Reddick she's out at Henzo Gracie Lake Houston, which is actually right around the corner from where I used to live in Atascocita, and just a young lady who's done quite a bit of grappling, and she's trying to get her feet wet actually in MMA. Haley Diome also wanted to fight MMA, but she wanted one more kickboxing fight. And this is one of those fights that I could honestly, like, we'll run it as a kickboxing fight, but I think these girls are going to fight each other in MMA one day as well. Both good grapplers. Of course, that's not going to be in the equation this time out. Kickboxing rule set. So I expect to see much of the same. Two girls come out and bring it. And if it's anything like it was the last time, just set the place on fire.
Yeah, it was a great way to get things going in Lake Charles for sure. Haley Diome put on quite the show. Next up, we've got Jamil Abuziad taking on Jacob Weingard. Abuziad, the last time we had him in a boxing, or I think it was kickboxing matchup, this time going to be getting going in MMA against Jacob Weingard. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, another interesting fight. I think Abuziad, we've actually seen him compete a little bit in kickboxing. Never seen him grapple, but he trains at Louisiana Black Belt Academy with Mike Braswell, so he's doing some grappling. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup. I really don't know too much about Weingard. I just know he trains at a good gym. He trains with one of my coaches, Adam Copley, who's a great MMA instructor. And those guys at War, they always have a good, well-rounded skill set. So even though he's a debutante, I expect him to be prepared. So that, again, might be a nice little scrap.
Talking about Louisiana Black Belt Academy a moment ago with Jamil, we've got Robert Short taking on Kaysen Charlton, a veteran for AKA. Now, Kaysen Charlton, a guy that's done a ton of work on his body, continues to step in the cage with relentless abandon. I mean, this guy's just all about it. He's taking on Robert Short. What do you think about that matchup?
Good fight. This is one of those ones, Robert Short, an older gentleman. I just want to make sure we pick the right matchup for him. Kaysen Charlton, a guy still thirsting for his first win as a combat athlete. I just think that it's hard to call exactly what's going to go on in this one. We have seen Kaysen continue to improve, get better, fight to fight. I think Robert Short in his last fight he kind of surprised us all because he had that unassuming look, kind of balding, beard, older looking gentleman, and he came out and he scrapped with a lot of personality, and it was a lot of fun. I again will urge him to keep his hands up this time around. If you remember correctly, he dropped his hands and kind of did the whole like rah thing, and it was memorable, but it was silly, and we got to be better than that. So I think this is a good fight, well matched. We'll see what happens.
Well, definitely well matched indeed. Next up, Tyson Sheets taking on Charles Gray of Wolf's Edge. Our first look at Tyson Sheets, first look at Charles Gray. Couple of the younger guys trying to get it going here in this matchup.
Yeah, this is one of those fights that both they're younger. One of them 17, the other one's 18. Kind of in the same place. I really don't know too much about them. I didn't overthink this one. I just stuck it together. So we're going to find out. Again, just going back to how it's been here recently, our experience of watching these young amateurs come in and start it out, they're pretty good. They typically have a decent skill set. They've been playing UFC 5 for the last couple of years, and they know how to put together some combinations. I don't know. These guys, debutantes, surprising us more and more every day. We talk about it all the time, how good, how much more advanced these amateurs are than they were even when I was fighting as an amateur. And yeah, I anticipate it might be a scrap. It's hard to know exactly because I don't know anything about them. But 18 years old, 17 years old, both guys, a couple years training between the two of them. They're going to come out and try and take each other out. That's what I'm anticipating.
Next up, Nate Blundell, David Frank, Brotherhood MMA against Crone Gracie of West Monroe. West Monroe right down the road from Ruston. Kind of a homecoming, if you will, for Nate Blundell.
Absolutely. This is a hometown fight for Nate Blundell. Ruston just right around the way. We had him out the last time he fought. I believe he fought for us and looked great. a little bit big, a pretty big, good size 55er. I think he missed weight his last time out. I'd like to see him get that back right, come in and make weight. You got a 2 pound allowance after all. But I think this is a good matchup just because last time we saw David Frank out, he actually showed some pretty solid wrestling chops. And I think what I'm hoping is we'll get to see a bit of a, both these guys will get to work the striking a little bit because Blundell is a grapple heavy fighter too. He needs to get in and score the takedown and try to work off of the top position. And I think it's going to be a little more difficult for him to do against David Frank, who legitimately looked like he wrestled a little bit, knows how to down block, knows how to defend a takedown. So I'm hoping, in my mind's eye, the way I play it out is they kind of stifle each other's grappling, and we see them try to beat each other up on the feet for 9 minutes. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, we'd love to see that as well. Speaking of wrestling, Leonard Ventress. This is a guy that what he wants to do is wrestle. He wants to get on top of you, wear you out, smother you with his pressure. He's going to be going up against Devontae Anderson. This is a matchup that I'm really curious to see, Matt.
Interesting matchup. On paper, maybe not one that makes a lot of sense. Devontae 2-2. Leonard Ventress been dominant, 7-2, I believe, as an MMA fighter. Leonard getting close to, he's fought a lot of amateur fights. I still think, and I've had some conversation with Leonard as well. He wants to strike a little more. He wants to let it go, but sometimes it's hard for him not to just go back to what he knows because these guys can't defend a takedown.
Yep.
So with Devontae Anderson coming off of the up kick knockout, I was just thinking this was a good matchup. Devontae, dominant, young, talented guy from Fortis MMA. Leonard Ventress, hot, been winning fights. Devontae's got to defend the takedown, and if Devontae's able to defend the takedown, I think it plays into, what Leonard has been telling me behind the scenes, and he wants to get his striking going a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if Devontae comes in with the right game plan, is able to redirect Leonard Ventress's takedown, stay on top, and potentially make it a striking fight.
Yeah, one of Leonard's losses on his record, he was dominating the fight for 3 rounds, got unlucky towards the end. The referee kind of screwed him over in a spot, and he got a win stolen from him, in my personal opinion, but that's neither here nor there. Hometown guys, obviously the fans are going to want to see him. Nicholas Moses, Caleb Ernst, another one of those Fortis MMA products. Nicholas Moses, a guy that, obviously the fans love to see him get out there and scrap. This should be an exciting fight.
Yeah, Nicholas Moses, one of these guys that every time I see him, he looks better. So that tells me he's doing the right things. He's working hard. This wasn't my favorite fight to put together, but it's just so difficult to find matchups for the middleweights. And Caleb Ernst, a talented kid, he already made the trip out to Ruston before. He's not small either. He's he's not as big as Nicholas Moses, I don't think, but he's a good sized guy in his own right. And I think we know. We've seen these guys fight. Caleb's a rangy striker, good footwork. I think he needs to put that into play, whereas Nicholas Moses is going to try and close the distance a little bit, try and get into his positions, underhook, pin him on the fence, try and score takedowns, try and win through the grappling. But Nicholas Moses, again, we've seen he's made improvements in his striking, and I wouldn't be surprised if he came out and just struck with Caleb Ernst too. It'd be a fun one.
Another one of those triad guys, Damian Turner taking on the compounds, Daryl Nichols from Shreveport, a battle of Ruston and Shreveport, North Louisiana, going toe-to-toe in this one.
Yep, that's, oh my goodness. Gotta slam on the brakes there. Daryl Nichols, last time he came out, he actually had to fight on short notice. It was kind of the day of, right? He fought Halston Bowman and weighed in at 145. I think it was Miss Amber who was able to barter that one together and piece it together, and it ended up being a good fight. I anticipate with a little more, he's put in a full camp. He's known about this fight for a minute now, and in the weight class that he belongs in, 135, going up against Damian Lewis, solid fighter, guy we've seen a couple of times now out there. He really impressed me his last time out because his opponent started pretty fast and was looking good, and Damian was able to reel him in and ultimately dominate the fight and get a finish. So that's an interesting matchup. Looking forward to it. Just two guys that are about in the same spot, 1-1, 0-1, or maybe Daryl's 1-1 as well. Just a fight that makes sense. They're reasonably close to each other. Let's see it. Let's shake it loose. See what happens. Daryl, though, last time we saw him, very exciting, and again on short notice. So I think that's going to be a good one.
Moving forward with our main card here, we'll move to the heavyweights. And I was trying to help you out on putting this one together. It's just tough to get these heavyweights, man. There's so few of them. There's like you got a ton of 35ers to choose from out there. There's just not as many heavyweights. One very exciting heavyweight that we have fighting at AKA Gunnar Moscow went toe to toe with Tyler Reed down in Lake Charles for our amateur heavyweight championship. Came out on the losing end of that one, but it could have gone either way. I mean, it was a hell of a scrap. He's going to get Marco Serrano from the compound. I mean, this is a battle of two up-and-coming heavyweights, Matt.
An excellent fight, a fight that I felt like needed to happen, and I think we'd been close to putting it together in the past. For whatever, if I remember correctly, just conflict of schedules. Maybe Marco was booked somewhere else. We thought he could make a turnaround and wasn't able to, but lo and behold, it eventually comes together. And yeah, Gunnar Moscow coming off of a definitely fight of the night, potentially fight of the year performance. I mean, an excellent heavyweight 5-round scrap between him and Tyler Reed. And like you said, it could have gone either way. I think if they would have raised Moscow's hand, I wouldn't have been surprised either. So great fight. I know Gunnar's got a bright future in front of him. This is just another opportunity for him to come out and prove himself a little bit. And in front of the Ruston crowd, I'm sure he's giddy with anticipation, wanting to get back and get a little redemption for himself. Marco Serrano, a guy that, pretty slick striker on the outside, uses his jab well, boxes pretty well. I've wanted to see him improve in the grappling department, just make some changes, be able to get under hooks. But I think, if we try to play out how this is going to go, it's hard to say because Marcos, I've kind of thought he was in a bad position before, just facing guys that just looked a little more physical than him, but he was able to win with skills, with using his jab, with using his footwork. He moves well for a heavyweight. I still think he needs to get a little stronger as his career further develops. But I think that's a good one. It's a good fight. We'll see what happens. This is a good test to see because Moscow very physical, right? Yep. And if our boy Marcos is able to deal with that and make it his type of fight, I think he's answering the questions we've asked in the past.
Well, we'll have the answer between Shreveport and Ruston after those two matchups go down. And I expect Serrano and Moscow to stand and bang. And if you like standing and banging, we've got some bare knuckle action coming your way as well. We're going to talk to Blake LaCaze right after we get off here with Matt. But let's talk about this expected co-main event, Blake LaCaze, Michael Murphy. I mean, Matt, this is going to be a hell of a scrap. Blake LaCaze, tons of boxing experience. He's got bare knuckle experience. So does Michael Murphy. I mean, this is one that is going to leave the fans standing on their feet, I think.
Definitely. Violence guaranteed between these two gentlemen. Michael Murphy, man, Mike's just one of those types of dudes, he'd be your fighter's favorite, your favorite fighter's favorite fighter. Yeah. He's just a dog. And I actually training at War the other day and ran into him as I left and shook his brick of a hand. And he's just one of these guys. He's made for it. He's made for this bare knuckle stuff. And just had a child and, definitely ready to get out there and keep the momentum going. Was able to get a victory the last time he was out against a very tough opponent. And Blake LaCaze, yeah, I mean, a guy with a lot of boxing experience, a lot of height. It's going to be that's the most interesting part, Mike Murphy, a guy who's a hammer, and he's going to bring him and try to loop in some big shots, but he's really going to have to change the trajectory of those looping shots because Blake LaCaze just stands so tall. And interesting matchup. I'm very excited to see how that one unravels.
6'8" Blake LaCaze. We're gonna talk to him in a minute. We'll get his whole breakdown of the thing right after we get off here with Matt. And next up, another one of the BKFC veterans, a guy that's fought some of the best in the world in bare knuckle. It's Quentin Henry from West Monroe, one of the hometown heroes on this card, if you will, headlining this fight. I mean, Quentin Henry, just one of those dudes that everybody wants to see because you know it's going to be a war.
Yeah, a guy that's had some experience now and fought some real names at BKFC, and so you know what to expect with Quentin. He's been around for a long time. He's had a little success in MMA. He's had a lot of success in the bare knuckle department, and yeah, I mean, he's out there. Why would we ever go back to this part of Louisiana and not feature Quentin Henry on the card? Very excited to have him be a part of it. I expect nothing more than what he's shown his entire career: bombs, big punches, and just bare knuckle. I just can't even imagine what it's like having just nuts flying at your face from a guy like Quentin Henry. So really excited. Definitely not going to wear white this time around. And can't wait for it. Going to be a great headliner. Going to be a great card. Going to be a great fight. And yeah, we're going to blow the doors off Ruston, Louisiana. Let's go, baby.
And if you're looking for tickets, make sure you contact AKA, get your tickets, be there because you do not want to miss out on this card, AKA's 50th card. What a monumental night we're going to have in Ruston, Louisiana. Matt Danger Schnell joining us, brother. I appreciate you taking the time, really living up to the name, doing this while you're driving and be in danger.
Only almost died once, so we're good, baby.
Well, we appreciate it. We're going to let Matt go. Next up, we got Blake LaCaze. He's going to talk about his matchup coming up against Michael Murphy. We're turning to Blake right now. Joined now by one of the main men for AKA 50. It's Blake Big Boy LaCaze, ready to go in the co-main event against Michael Murphy, bare knuckle boxing. One of the first times that AKA has had bare knuckle boxing. This will be one of the first times we've had it inside of a cage as well. How does that sound to you, Blake? I know you've done it in the ring many a times. Have you done it inside the cage before?
I've never done it inside the cage, but it's the same concept, same outline, same outcome. You know, like we're getting in there to fist fight. So I'm ready, man. It doesn't matter cage, parking lot, locker room. I'm ready. Let's get it.
Well, let's talk about who you are, what got you into boxing and bare knuckle fighting. And you just mentioned it, right? Like sometimes it goes down in the parking lot, it goes down in the gym. Have you ever been in any outside of, organized fighting?
Oh, absolutely, man. That's a big reason why I'm in boxing till this day because as a young man, I went to 14 different schools, so you know how that would be. I'm always the new kid. I'm always being tested, and well, I guess they thought they would test me, and I would more or less fight. So I got like 14 years old. My dad said, "You know what, Blake? You're gonna keep fighting. I know we move a lot, but if you're gonna keep fighting, we're gonna do it the right way." He put me in a gym at 13 years old. I just turned 30 last Sunday. 17 years I've been fighting. I've stuck with it.
That's pretty awesome. Clearly, you've had a lot of the answers to those tests from back in the day as well when they were trying to test you out there. And you just mentioned that, right? Like you've moved around quite a bit. Obviously, now in Monroe. Where were you born, and how did things ultimately lead here?
I'm from a little bitty town called Pioneer, Louisiana. It's like 152 people population.
Okay.
And when I say I was born there, I was born there. My mom had me at a home birth with a midwife, so I hang my hat on Pioneer. And Pioneer, like I said, we moved a lot, and once I got to, I guess, like I said, 14 years old, my dad just kind of had enough of us moving around and me wanting to fight and everything. But I guess he didn't understand me at the moment, and we partook boxing. And 17 years later, man, 3 national placings, and this will be my 100 sanctioned fight next month for AK. And it's been quite a journey. I'm a tested, seasoned veteran, and I would like to say I'm like a young, hard nosed veteran, a very young, seasoned veteran that's very unheard of in the fight game. With a guy that's 30 years old, but I've have 100 fights of experience under my belt. So I'm bringing all that November 1st for sure.
Yeah, I've never heard of somebody having 100 sanctioned fights at 30 years old. I mean, we certainly have never seen that at AKA. Truly one of the more experienced fighters that we've had. And this will be your second fight for AKA, your first bare knuckle fight. You did something that took some serious balls back in April at AKA 45. You stepped in on short notice against Marco Soto in an MMA match, one of the more vicious and talented MMA fighters in the area. And brother, you did that on short notice. I have a ton of respect for you for that. Kind of tell us how that, all came about. Like, what you're thinking going into that. And do you really have any MMA training, or is all of it essentially boxing?
For sure, all boxing. I've never trained any ground game, any jujitsu, any wrestling, none of that ever. I know nothing of the sort. Uh, but far as like how the fight came about, I like to think that for AKA and Bishop Promotions, I'm like a very loyal fighter to them, very loyal. And I got called on a 2 hours notice, and I was thinking firsthand that this was going to be a boxing match. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go piece Marco up. And then I found out it was an MMA match, and I said, well, I've never backed down from a fight. So, I'm an all in or all out type of person. I was already in, so let's go all in and let's do the thing. So I drove in from West Monroe on a 2 hours notice. I had enough time to show up at the show, pass my physicals with the doctor, get dressed, and walk to the ring. And that's how that night went. And I had no whatsoever, none experience in MMA cage, and I knew like if he took me to the ground, that was no doubt that was out of my element. But if we stood up and traded and threw punches, I gave myself a 50-50 shot because he can't stand up in exchange with me. Marco done the right thing. He single legged me, shot, took me to the ground immediately, and hey, I've never strayed away from a fight, Tyler. I'm ready, man, at all times.
No, and we talked about it multiple times on the broadcast tonight, just how much respect we had for you for taking that. That's not just a short notice fight. That is the ultimate short notice fight in MMA. You've done boxing. I mean, it's unheard of. What you did truly is unheard of. It'll never happen again at AKA or maybe any other promotion in the world for that matter. For somebody that's a pure boxer to step in against a legitimate MMA prospect too. We're not just talking about just some random guy here that's 0-4 in MMA or something. Marco Soto, championship aspirations, UFC aspirations. And I'll tell you what, going in, we were kind of talking like if Big Boy Blake if he can just catch him with one, brother, like it could change the fight. Marco did the smart thing. He took you down. He didn't want to tread into those waters. Can't say that I blame him whatsoever. And well, we're excited to have you back for this next one. And let's kind of talk about we'll move into the fight in a second, but let's talk about bare knuckle and boxing. So I think you have six bare knuckle fighting fights for BKFC, who's really become the premier promotion for bare knuckle fighting. And what is the difference, I guess, necessarily besides the gloves between bare knuckle and then pure boxing? Like how do you see the difference?
All right, for I guess I can give everybody like a little quick history lesson, and I can give you a visual in your mind. So if there was a brick wall in front of you, and I put a boxing glove on your strongest hand, and I tell you to hit the brick wall, you're going to smoke that brick wall. You're going to hit it so hard because you have padding on that hand. Now the next thing I would do, I tell you to take that boxing glove off. Let's hit that same brick wall with our bare fist. You're not going to hit it that hard. With that being said, we're humans. We feel pain.
Mhm.
We're mindful of pain. And the only reason boxing was ever invented was because they wanted longer fights and less lacerations. Here we are, the 21st century. We want knockout and blood for sure. So the sport's being revolutionized, and that's something I wanted to get in. I wouldn't say reboot my career, but I got like a restart, and a lot of people don't get to do that once they're a professional. I got like a restart over in bare knuckle and rejuvenized my career, and it took off, man. And I'm just honored to be here. And far as I know, in the history books dating back, Louisiana, the state of Louisiana has never had a bare knuckle champion ever on the history books. I'm looking to make history November the 1st.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well. I mean, look, you're one of the top boxing pros in the state. Now you have a chance to prove that you're the guy when it comes to bare knuckle fighting as well. That goes down against Michael Murphy in Ruston, Louisiana on November 1st. And let's turn to Michael Murphy. How much do you know about, Murph, and what are you kind of expecting from that?
I'm expecting a tough fight from Michael Murphy. They call him Murder. I don't think
Yeah.
he gets the name from just being funny or anything. This guy's coming to fight, and I'm expecting. I'm training like he is the baddest man on the face of the earth, and that's the only way I look at Michael Murphy right now. He's the baddest man on the face of the earth, and he's in front of me, and that's my mindset going at this fight. I don't know much about him. I do know he has an experience of one bare knuckle fight and a lot of experience of MMA fighting, but this isn't MMA. This is going to be bare knuckle boxing. It's more up my alley. And he fought David Boswick, which is a smaller guy. I mean, I've never heard of that Boswick fighting at 75 at middleweight or 70. That it was absurd when I heard it, and he kind of big maned him. Well, now your second go around, you're not gonna get the big man a big man. You're gonna be in there with a really big boy, and we'll see how this goes. I'm eager. I would fight right now if they give me the green light. Say, hey, you guys can go right now. I would do it right now. I'm ready, and I cannot. I'm counting the seconds until November 1st.
Well, you just mentioned something that I was going to get to, and we'll get to it right now. You are a big boy, Blake, big boy LaCaze. That a lot of times you kind of wonder about fighters' nicknames. Your nickname has had to essentially fall into your lap. You're listed at 6'6". I think you might actually be taller than that. And what are you technically listed at? What are you? You can tell us right now because I've seen it a couple different ways. How tall are you, Blake?
I don't know where the boxing community and the box rate got the 6'6.5". That's nonsense.
Yes, it seems
all
like it.
the all the viewers and everybody that's watching right now, I am 6'8.5", flat footed. When I have my shoes on, I'm every bit of 6'9", 6'9.5". I'm a big guy. I tower over damn near everybody I'm around.
But I was looking on Tapology, listed at 6'6", but we just had you back at AKA 45. Then we had you again in your last matchup, and I was thinking, there's no way this guy's 6'6". He's every bit of 6'7", 6'8". So now we know for sure 6'8.5", 6'9" in shoes, and so the nickname Big Boy. I mean, pretty obvious how you got that, right?
How obvious it's I like to joke with everybody that I'm around and say, hey, you don't have to look up to me all the time, but they do. Everyone looks up to me. I'm a big guy for sure.
No doubt about it. So, living in Monroe, Louisiana now, the fight in Ruston, 30 miles down the road. Somewhat of a homecoming. You said you're from Pioneer, but this is, to a degree, a homecoming for you. What are your thoughts about that?
This is going to be a homecoming fight. So this title fight, November 1st, the AK is going to be sold out with Jab City and Big Boy Blake shirts, and it's going to be loud for me that night. I know I'm going to have a more than enough people there. There's going to be so many people there, and I'm really looking forward to that. And it's a homecoming fight for me, and everybody's been very eager for me to come back home and fight. And they got a little taste of that back at AK 47 with the boxing event, and man, I put on a show for them that night just to give them a little taste of what's to come. And I can't wait. November 1st, it's going to be a big, big night for me. And I can't wait to show all my people, all my fans, all my family and friends, AKA. I just can't wait.
Yeah, and speaking of AKA 47, had a bout against Robert Hill. Jab City was on full display that night. I mean, we talked about it a lot on the broadcast. I mean, the jab, clearly your best weapon. With that kind of reach, it has to be your best weapon, right? Walk us through AKA 47 in your matchup against Robert Hill, which you obviously came out victorious in.
AK 47. So me and Coach had a game plan, which Robert was a last minute, like a 2 week replacement for us from the original opponent. But same concept, like we just said, Jab City. So we come in, we establish the jab. Second round ends. I mean, first round ends going into the second round. My coach said, "Blake, let's go throw some power." And boy, was I throwing power. I think I was landing some of the punches on the guy's glove, and he was going to the canvas. But 5 knockdowns. He didn't get up the last knockdown, and kind of what I was elaborating on a while ago. Just I gave my fans and my family just a little taste of what's to come November 1st.
Well, we certainly loved it back then, and we're expecting to see more of it here on November 1st. Final couple questions for you. Tell us a little bit about your gym, who you're going to have supporting you there in Ruston on the 1st, and who's going to be in your corner.
Okay, so I'll have Sparky McDuffie, West Monroe Boxing Club. I've been with Sparky for 17 years, my entire amateur and professional career. He's going to be the main in my corner. I'm going to have my best friend, Zach Sharkatalk Kalmus, coming in from Boston, and he's bringing in some fans and some family from Boston with him as well to watch me win that belt November the 1st. He's going to be my second, and I'll have a few more people in my corner, but just them two would be my mains that night, and then just the countless people, the sponsors, the family and friends, this classmates, this old fighters, people that I've fought that's driving in to watch this fight. It's going to be a special night, man. I can't wait. And I think my coaches have me right where I need to be. Like I said, I would fight right now if I could.
Final thing, you got any kind of prediction for us?
No prediction. The only prediction I can give you is Jab City. Look for the jab. It'll be there. And sometimes stuff follows up behind the jab. But I'm in this fist fight, and I said this early in the interview. I'm an all in or all out type of person. So when this fight hits November 1st, as soon as the bell rings, I'm gonna be all in for y'all. I'm gonna lay 30 years of my life out there for you guys. That's my prediction.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm all in for AKA 50 in Ruston, Louisiana, November 1st. Blake LaCaze, Michael Murphy, bare knuckle fighting championship on the line for American Combat Alliance. Blake, we appreciate you taking the time with us here today, brother. Look forward to seeing you on November 1st.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Tyler.
Absolutely, man. Y'all be good.